Good morning. My name is Shayla Brooklin, and today I'll be talking to you about a short story by William Faulkner called A Rose for Emily. The story takes place in a mystical, made up town that William Faulkner did make up called Jefferson, which he made very identical to his hometown, Oxford, which was in Mississippi. Many of his stories also consist of recurring fictional families, such as McCalsons, Snopes, Ceteris, which was the mayor in the story, and Compson's. Um, William Faulkner was also a Southern realist in his time period, so most of his stories are written with a highly symbolic type of settings. Everything symbolizes something. William Faulkner stories are written with themes about man's need to overcome sin, influence of the past, on the present, and obsession which eventually leads to insanity. His stories and themes help to define a subgenre of Southern literature known as Southern Gothic that consists of Gothic elements. And this here is a picture of William Faulkner here. Southern Gothic expresses conflicts between the past and the present, the Old South fading away as it becomes more industrialized and as immigrants eventually flock to the cities, more than likely to find jobs. Which in the story, Homer was a Yankee and comes into town to do work and build buildings and such. It also makes the use of Gothic elements that are violence, loneliness, dark settings, dark secrets, madness, and death, which are all very much so present in this story. A Rose for Emily is one of Faulkner's most famous writings, which includes the Gothic elements of isolation, insanity, a sense of modern decline, and death. It is also one of his most famous stories because of the title. The naming of the title is A Rose for Emily. In the story, there was no specific rose that was mentioned in the story. The only thing they really mentioned was the rose colored curtains that were upstairs with the dead body. There was, however, a metaphorical rose that was mentioned in the story, because in that time period, when you do have quarters and guys that want to date you, they bring a rose, which is a sign of affection. So when Homer did take interest in Emily, and he did show some type of affection and with driving her to the city and going to church with her and everything like that, he showed a sign of affection towards her. So to Emily, Homer was her rose. And so to speak, in a way, she tried to preserve it, because when you get flowers or roses, you tend to want to put them in the freezer to try and preserve them so they will last longer and you'll have them forever. Such as what Emily does with Homer's body. She doesn't let anyone know that he's dead. She doesn't try to kill him or anything. It mentioned in the story that she might have put something on his body to make it last long so she can have it longer. She kept it in the bed with her, and she did sleep with him with the dead body, which illustrates the madness that she is, or insanity that she is going through. The real victim of the story was not, however, Homer Barron, which he was killed by Emily, but yet it is Emily herself, because she is a victim of her father's controlling personality, which drives all her quarters away as a young child. She was very much sane when her father was alive, and because of his controlling personality over every aspect of her life, when he did eventually die, she had nothing to she had nothing that she knew of. The only thing she knew was her father, everything that was done by her father. So, which is a sense of why she had the servant to do everything for her, because she was isolated from the world and everything. Um, so when he did die, she eventually turned from sane to insane. She also was a victim of the changing of the time period and also the townspeople gossip. The story is told by the townspeople's perception of the story. Not, you don't get a view of Emily or Toby or Homer. It's how the townspeople thought of Emily. And so she also was a victim of the changing of the time period because it was a new generation and Emily was not used to that. She didn't even know that the mayor that told her she did not have to pay taxes anymore. She was not aware that he died over 10 years ago. So you can have a sense that she was isolated from the world. She had no connection with anyone of that sort. So she was a victim in every sort of aspects of this story. So that's why he made her grotesque by killing, but he also made it so that we would have sympathy for her situation of being overran by her father and eventually leading her into insanity and eventually killing another human being, and for her to not have an ideal of this is wrong, I should not do this. So that's why we have a sympathy towards her. That's the end of my presentation. Um, I do thank y'all for y'all's for y'all's attention towards my presentation. And if you have any comments, I'm guessing that you would leave them under the comment area for YouTube since I am loading this on YouTube. Thank you.